Alright, I'm gonna go over my Archon build. Of course, it's a little different than the one that I have listed, but you can just make changes as you need or with what you got. There are a few things that I do for aesthetic reasons, but I could probably change them and be a little bit better. I don't, just because I am a basic bitch. So, first thing is that you have spell power cure. You always want 5 pieces of this no matter what the hell you're doing. You want 5 pieces of spell power cure at all times for the 5-piece bonus. I wear a heavy Divine's Troll King's shoulder. I would actually get more armor out of it if I wore a heavy Divine, or a heavy infused Troll King's helm. I just like the aesthetic better of not looking like a complete and total monster, because it looks terrifying. I do have 2 jewelry pieces that are worm, and then 1 that is spell power cure. That's mostly because it just fit better with my gear setup. And then weapons, I use an Inferno Staff of the Worm that's powered, and a worm infused staff, and it actually is named, so it's fairly easy to get. It is infused, but I use a poison on it, which isn't great because then infused doesn't really work. But the poison gives you all of these lovely benefits. And as far as skills go, if I know how to do buttons, I use Ritual of Retribution. You can use the other one. I just use Retribution because it does put a little bit of damage on, and a boss at 1 health can wipe a group, whereas a boss at 0 health can't. That's kind of the reasoning for that. Breath of Life, bread and butter, oh shit, heal. Try not to be spammy with it. If you're spammy with it, you're gonna run out of magicka. Harness Magicka. Harness Magicka is good if you really, really need to mitigate damage on yourself, or if you need to get magicka back. And what you do is you just pop it and walk over like a mine or something, or walk into danger so that it absorbs damage and gives you magicka back. But make sure you're not putting yourself in, too much danger. Blazing Spear, I use this morph for damage, but you can also use the other morph. It's personal flavor. Just make sure you have at least one of the spears on your bar. And then LA Drain. LA Drain is sometimes required if you're going to go do a trial. Sometimes it's not. I just keep it just in case. It also puts Magicka Steel on a target, which is great when you need magicka back, or if your group needs magicka back. And then for my ult, I have Aggressive Warhorn. In endgame trials, this is pretty much the only ult that you will be using as a healer. Sometimes you'll be using Nova, but that's situational, and your raid leader or will call for it, or it'll be obvious when you need to use it. Back bar, I have Combat Prayer, and you want to keep this up as often as possible. It only lasts 8 seconds, so you're going to be kind of spammy with it. Just make sure you hit the majority of the group as you can, as most of the group as you can. Energy Orb, you want to be throwing this either at the off-tank or the group so that they can pop the synergies on it. It shares a cooldown with your shards, though. So if you're throwing both orbs and shards at a tank, he can only pick up 1 at a time. But this is mostly for group, so that you can heal the crap out of them, because it does heal for a crap ton, and they can pop the synergies and get magicka back, and it heals them. Healing Springs is your bread and butter. You can have 3 of them on the ground going at the same time, so make sure you have them stacked. Channeled Focus, this regenerates your magicka. It gives you a lot of magicka regen. Just make sure if you aren't in a mobile fight that you have this on the ground at all times. And then I also have Cleanse when the situation calls for it. You don't have to have this on your bar. You can use another spell or ability, whichever you want. But Cleanse is great in Halls of Fabrication and in other instances, but in some places it's not as great, so you don't need it all the time. And again, back bar, I still have Warhorn. And then my champion points, I have Nothing into the steed. I have 75 into Hardy and 60 into Elemental Defender. And I have 60 into Elemental Defender because I'm a Breton, so I get just racial magic resistance from that. But I stop at 75 because I think the bonus you get from 75 to 100 is only an extra 1%, which can matter, but for 25 points, it is a heavy investment, so I only go up to 75. I go into light armor focused, although I could probably put it into thick skin, but I just put it in light armor focus because I was lacking a little bit in physical resistance, but I honestly should put it into thick skinned. The Lord, I put 45 into recovery. You can put a little bit less, but, you know, dead healers don't heal, and this increases your healing received. Counts for you, so if you cast healing on yourself, it counts as healing received. Nothing into the tower. 75 into Arcanist, which is, of course, the most you should want to put in it, because you only get the extra 1% from the other 25 points. Tenacity increases the magicka and stamina of fully charged heavy attacks, which is really, really good on your resto staff. And then I put 40 points into tumbling because I had nowhere else to fucking put it, and I didn't know what to do with it. Probably can put it into stamina regen. I just put it into tumbling because I fuck up and am in bad places all the time, so I dodge roll often. 35 points into Shadow Ward because there is a passive in Resto, I think, that you absorb magicka based on blocking. I put it in there because I'm fairly good at blocking, seeing something coming at me and blocking. You can also put this in other places, but putting them here, I also get the Treasure Hunter passive, increases the quality of items you find in treasure chests. I'm pretty sure this doesn't increase purple items to gold, but you find purple items more often than you don't find purple items. Blessed and Elfborn in the Apprentice, I put 90 in here, and it is worth the investment because increases your healing done, and increases the healing and damage of your critical strikes with magicka abilities. Put the 90 in there. It's worth it. 30 points into Staff Expert because I literally have nothing else to put anywhere else. And you get retaliation when you block a heavy attack, which I have block cost reduction. Your next light attack within 7 seconds deals 30 additional damage. If you don't ever light attack, just put 1 point into Staff Expert so you have something, and then put the rest into Blessed and Elfborn. And then I have nothing in the Ritual. And that's it for champion points. Attribute points, literally everything into magicka. I have my enchants on my gear to make up for the health. Maximum health unbuffed right now is 12,577. Maximum magicka is almost 33k. Spell crit 32. Spell damage 1936. Magicka recovery is almost 1481. And then health and stamina recovery really doesn't matter. For my Mundus Stone, I use the Atronach, which increases your magicka recovery, which is more important for a healer than DPS, because DPS wants damage, even though damage does boost your healing done. And for potions, I use, what's it called? Essence of Spell Power. Gives you major sorcery, major prophecy, and restores magicka and gives you major intellect. Basically what you want to do is just keep this on cooldown at all fucking times. So, fully buffed, or fully self-buffed, rather. My spell damage goes up to ooh, I didn't drink a potion. Spell damage goes up to 2629. Recovery goes up to 1632 or 1636. Crit is at 4149 or 41.9. Yeah. So this potion actually really, really freaking helps you out. If you feel like you are low on magicka constantly, like you're constantly running out of magicka, use Azorga's Red Frothgar. Otherwise, you can use Witchmother's Potent Brew, but it gives you significantly less health. Or you could use Max Health, Max Magicka food. If you feel like your Magicka sustain is just fine and you're regenning just fine. But personally I use the Frothgar for the regen. And your health, 17k, almost 18k, that's good. You want at least 17k for trials, because there's a lot of effects and damage that will do about 16k health. So if you have less than 17k, you're probably going to die a lot. And that's pretty much it. As far as PvP though, I do have a different set. What I had listed for you is probably better. And then this is my mending set. Mending is basically the same thing, same setup, same bar, same everything. Except for this set is where the poisons are best. Whereas the other set, you could probably run infused. I just run poisons on both. It just makes life simpler for me. But yeah, there's Troll King Heavy. That's why I don't wear it on my primary set. This set with mending is mostly just for trials. Also, my weapons are defending. Defending is just fine for a healer, especially if you aren't good at responding to telegraphs and AoEs and stuff and you're dying too often. Go with defending, because a dead healer doesn't heal.